All through Eastertide, we've been using our Thursday devotionals to look at the resurrection stories, to see what of new life we can know for ourselves. Take a look today at Luke chapter 24, verses 9 through 12. They left the tomb and broke the news of all this to the 11 and the rest. Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, and the other women with them kept telling these things to the apostles. But the apostles didn't believe a word of it, thought they were making it all up. But Peter jumped to his feet and ran to the tomb. He stooped to look and saw a few grave clothes. That's all. He walked away, puzzled, shaking his head. It starts with this group of women breaking the news that they had been to the tomb, had found the stone rolled away, the body gone, and they had run into two men in dazzling clothes who said to them, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He's not here, but has risen." Luke says the apostles didn't believe a word of it and thought they were making it all up. Making up what? The rolled away stone, the empty tomb, the two men in snazzy, dazzling clothes? Or what the men told them about Jesus being risen? Yes, all of it. From the world of psychology comes this notion of confirmation bias. We are much more likely to believe things consistent with things we already believe true and disbelieve things that don't fit the already constructed narrative by which we live. Resurrection and new life always finds tombs too confining and the boxes of our belief too small. Resurrection is a direct challenge to our constructed bias. Years ago, J.B. Phillips wrote a little book entitled "Your God is Too Small." Resurrection proves that all we thought about life is too small. For no one on that original Easter was this more true than for Peter. Our scripture says, but Peter jumped to his feet and ran to the tomb. He stooped to look in and saw a few grave clothes. That's all. He walked away puzzled, shaking his head. Do you find it curious that Peter alone of all the disciples was the only one who ran to the tomb? I don't. I suspect that there is a sense in which all of us ultimately alone can make this journey of faith. At the end of the day, there are some questions for which we can't depend on others. A friend and mentor in the "he's influenced me more than he knows of me" sense, Walter Buddy Sheridan, was former chair of the Department of Christianity at Mercer University. He once said to a group of us over breakfast one day something that has profoundly impacted me. He said, "Autonomy is necessary for authenticity." Autonomy is necessary for authenticity, which is to say, we may run with a partner from time to time, but ultimately we, like Peter, must run to the tomb alone. We all have to see for ourselves, to ask questions for ourselves. Our questions can't come from others. I love that this episode has Peter walking away, not running, walking, and puzzled, shaking his head. Puzzlement and head-shaking questions are the Easter grounds on which faith is built. On the one end of the spectrum are our curiosities, and on the other, our doubt and disbelief. The God of Easter is big enough for it all. Happy Eastertide, my friends.